So hi guys, today in our chemistry series we'll be discussing bases. Okay, so this is so important in chemistry as it forms one of the bedrock in chemistry. So make sure you stay with us to the end of this video. Please, while you are here, like this video, subscribe to this channel, and also share this video with your friends also. What are bases? What are bases? Because this is a common word. You usually hear about acid and bases, okay? So check the info in this video to see the link to our tutorial on acids, because you ought to also watch that particular video also. Nice, because it goes together with these bases. So what are bases? Okay, bases are metallic oxide or metallic hydroxide of substances. Okay, so you have oxides. Okay, you have hydroxide. So this is the connotation for oxide, while this is the connotation for hydroxide. Bases are mostly oxides of metal or hydroxide of metal. Nice. So you have metal here. So once this metal reacts to this oxide, they form bases, or once this metal reacts to this hydroxide, they form bases also. Nice. But this definition, it is not so encompassing, like it doesn't cover the whole, it doesn't define solely what bases are. So in real sense, bases are substances that tends to react with acids to form salt and water. That's the real encompassing definition of bases. Bases are substances that react with acids to form salt and water. So this is by a process called neutralization reaction. So by this process, a base reacts with an acid to form salt and water. Bases can also be weak bases or strong bases. Nice. So a base is said to be weak when it partially or weakly ionizes in water. So bases, they form ions in water. Nice. So when these bases ionize in water, if these ions that they form are weakly formed or partly formed, those bases are called weak bases. But if these bases form complete ions, they completely form ions in the water, okay, they are called strong bases. Example of strong bases are sodium hydroxide, potassium hydroxide. These are strong bases. Okay, nice. Also, weak bases are calcium hydroxide, example of weak bases. So this example, it's weakly or partly ionizes water, while these strong bases, they completely ionize in water. Nice. Also, in bases, there's a term called alkalis. Alkalis. Okay, so what are alkalis? What are alkalis? Alkalis are they are basic hydroxides that are soluble in water. Basic hydroxide that are soluble in water. Nice. So initially I told you that when mostly metals react with oxides or hydroxide to give you bases. Nice. So these hydroxides, okay, which are bases, okay, these bases that are hydroxide, that have hydroxide on them, they can be soluble or they can be insoluble. Okay, nice. So if these hydroxides are soluble, they are called alkalis. So they are soluble hydroxide of bases. Basic hydroxide that are soluble are called alkali. Is it making sense? Nice. Okay, so an example of this alkali include sodium hydroxide and potassium hydroxide. They are soluble basic hydroxide. Okay, so they are alkalis. Okay, nice. While insoluble hydroxides, okay, they include copper hydroxide, also magnesium hydroxide. Okay, so these are insoluble basic hydroxide. Why these are the soluble basic hydroxide, otherwise known as what? Alkalis.